Hi everyone, this is Social Alex on Twitter. Today I'm commenting on the location app called what3words, and I'll use some shopping malls as examples because most shopping malls have more than one entrance. The first shopping mall, Queen's Place, has a 3-word address on the app at Hooray Expert Lime. The shopping mall farther east is Queen's Center at Launch Young Stands. And finally, at the end is Rego Center number 2 at Silly Shark Body. Zooming in or pinching in on mobile will show you the precise squares the app is composed of, each square having a word address. Always 3 words. Please ignore any mottled colors you see zooming in. It's not the fault of the app, it's my laptop that's to blame, unfortunately. Back to the topic of many entrances, Silly Shark Body is one entrance for Rego Center, and Noisy Cups Twist is another. In my opinion, the prettiest physical entrance to visit Rego Center is at Silly Shark Body. The point is, every square in the app has a unique 3-word address. By unique, I mean you'll never see any repeated word address in the database. For example, Launch Young Stands is only in the system once, exactly here where it's shown. And just quickly, please be mindful of plural words if you see them. The 3-word address, Hooray Expert Lime, will be nowhere in the app, except for here, exactly where you see it. Of the 57 trillion squares in the database, they never change. That's trillion, not billion. Trillion, 57 trillion, and every square mile on this planet is amazingly mapped by this company. No matter where, even Antarctica and every ocean, it doesn't matter. The company doesn't judge the value of any address. Every square gets a randomly worded 3-word address, and the words aren't germane to anything. And as I said, they're permanent and forever. As many of us know, in industries like hotels, music festivals, and large convention venues, loading zones and delivery zones rarely match a building's official address. Let's look at the shopping mall's proper addresses versus their simplified 3 words. The word address, which I've put in red and white, are much easier to type or verbalize versus the listed ones in blue on the right. If you tried to speak the postal addresses into a car navigation system, well, good luck to you. Of course, you can do that, but it's clumsy and many times it won't be quick, especially if the address is long. But if you speak Hooray Expert Lime or Launch Young Stands into your vehicle navigation, it's much more memorable, it's faster, and there's far less room for error. As a matter of fact, both Ford and Mercedes-Benz have implemented what3words into many of their vehicles, possibly even all of their vehicles, but you can Google that because I don't want to give you incorrect facts. But the point is, both Mercedes and Ford see the value of the what3words system. Otherwise, they wouldn't have partnered with it. I'd say Mercedes and Ford made a great choice because if we look at the traditional addresses next to what3words, it's clear to see which is easier. Let me point out that I don't work for what3words. I'm just a big fan of it, possibly their biggest fan, I'm not sure, but I predict it'll become mainstream because I feel it has a lot to offer society, especially more efficiency, because that's what the app is about. So you can download the app through the App Store or Google Play, or just go to the website what3words.com and you can use it that way. And additionally, you'll be prompted and asked whether you want the app on your mobile devices. And you can use the web interface as is without downloading. And if you don't speak English, that's fine. The app comes in other languages besides English. Just visit the website for more info on that. There aren't translations, just so you know. Each version works independently of another language, but the web interfaces will always match the mobile. of the language that you choose. So the web and the mobile will always match up. In fact, I feel the desktop interface of what3words is a great prevention for certain snags. For example, a recipient of an address actually doesn't need to have the app on their phone. He or she can simply access a what3words URL provided by you. So in that scenario, no downloading is necessary. Or if you're interacting with someone who has a non-English version of what3words, it'd be the same solution, the web URL. So the web URL is your friend and solution, and inherently it will let you avoid countless undesirable issues. So I think the web interface is spectacular, but I do appreciate what3words on both desktop and mobile. So remember, you must use dots in the URL. So it's always word, dot, word, dot, word when you're typing, and that's also true in the mobile app. The dots are significant for it all to work. Again, if you notice a plural word, type or say the plural, and make sure to enunciate the S when you verbalize a plural word. I'm pretty sure that dots aren't required when you verbalize a 3-word address because the system's probably smart enough to know to add them automatically when it hears your voice. So just, pause briefly between words and remember to enunciate. So, quick fact. what3words has gotten a lot of press, including a feature story by the BBC, and I'll add that link in the description if you'd like to see that, but it's about the UK emergency service system, which is 999, which is their equivalent of 911 for, ambulances and police. So if you want to stick with numerical GPS, that's fine, because what3words isn't meant to get rid of GPS, it's just a great complement to it. what3words doesn't have long strings of unfriendly numbers, and this kind of simplicity is what people will grow to love, leading to mainstream adoption. In fact, the founder of the app has a terrible story about GPS. A delivery man in Italy had entered one wrong digit in a GPS string, and he got very, very lost, all because of one wrong digit. And as you can imagine, it was frustrating and it wasted a lot of time. So what3words.com is the website if you need more convincing. Looking at this image on the main website, it's nice to see Manhattan's Central Park. It's a great example because it's a huge park, around 840 acres in size, with many wide open grassy sections such as Sheep Meadow, which you see here in this pic. I'm thinking that if you were to meet a friend in Sheep Meadow or one of the park's other open grass areas, what3words would be a solution, because I know for a fact that Sheep Meadow is big. For me, walking there takes only a half hour, and according to Google, Sheep Meadow is 15 acres big. I didn't realize it was that big, but I know it's big. So how else would you tell a friend exactly where to meet you when a meadow is 15 acres big? You would almost need the app. You would need the app. So, but with the app, you would find your word, and then relay that information to your friend. And if your friend doesn't have the app, you just give him or her the web URL with the 3 words where you are, and it'll serve the same purpose. So my closing advice is to just try it, because as with any app, there's nothing better than doing a hands-on of your own versus hearing someone just talk about it. Once again, this is Social Alex on Twitter. Follow me there. And to hammer the point home, let's look at these Queens examples one last time. Not only is Queens the largest of the 5 boroughs of New York City, but unfortunately, in my opinion, it has one of the most convoluted addressing systems ever. To be clear, I comprehend the Queens system. It's not rocket science. It takes all of 20 seconds to learn it. But Queens people generally regard their system as pretty good, but it's mostly because they grew up with it or they work in Queens. But guess what? I grew up in Brooklyn, and I currently live in Manhattan. And as I said, while I understand the Queens system, I still dread it. A Queens address has immediate confusing potential, especially if you've never seen a Queens address before. Again, it's easy to learn the current Queens system, but in 2019, I'd say it's pretty clumsy, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but, you know, a new decade is right around the corner. You know, we're months away from 2020, and there are ways to make life easier. And, you know, if you think about it, Mercedes-Benz and Ford both agree, because otherwise they wouldn't have put what3words into their vehicles. So let that fact sink in. Mercedes and Ford, hello, that's big time. And you know, I have to give credit to the savvy team at what3words for partnering with that caliber, that echelon of business, because not every small business is capable of getting commitments from Fortune 100 companies, and they've done it. You know, they've got the street cred, and they deserve it. I think it's a great app. So, okay, have a great day. Have a great night wherever you are in the world. And once again, this is Social Alex on Twitter, giving my opinion on the what3words mobile app and web app. I'll put some bonus links in the description to help you truly understand the genius of this app.